Welcome back, and to shed more light on the importance of the Sino-African trade, we're delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Sou'ad Shalaby, former assistant to the foreign minister. Good afternoon, Ambassador Shalaby.
Good afternoon.
How do you weigh the importance of the Sino-African trade?
It's important for Africa and for China. Because, as we know, that there was a summit between the president of Africa and the Chinese president in Beijing in the early September, and they decided that to increase the cooperation between China and Africa, and this cooperation took place. It took place. It was strategically decided that there will be a partnership between Africa and between China that will bring all the 54 countries into the investment program of China, and China will provide investment that will raise up to $51.4 billion by 2027. That means in 3 years, the Chinese government is going to expand its trade, expand its cooperation in different sectors, agriculture, industry, and infrastructure in African countries to reach that figure, 51.4. And this, if you translate this into yuan, it will be 360 billion yuan Chinese, and that is encouraging the Chinese companies who are interested to invest in Africa and will get facilities, whether it is in different sectors, but the government of China will provide facilities for the private sector, the companies, Chinese companies, to invest in Africa. So that is a big step forward to use the yuan as a medium of payments for the trade and for the payments of export and import between China and Africa.
Indeed. Researchers said rising Sino-African trade and infrastructure cooperation is fueling demand for the Chinese yuan. Well, how do you read the impact of such development on the economic and political stages?
There was a meeting in Nairobi for 2 days, and this meeting brought researchers and senior government officials and bankers, policymakers. They are discussing the critical issues that are facing the use of yuan as a way to settle the transactions between China and African countries. And due to the rise in trade and due to the rise of projects, there will be more than 20 programs, for instance, in the health sector. There will be more than 40 projects to be implemented with partnerships. There are 10 partnerships that are starting between Africa and different countries that are financed by the Chinese government in the yuan. So this meeting that was held in Nairobi was discussing how the central banks in Africa are going to include the yuan in their trade agreements, and it will be becomes part of the currency basket, like one of the the yuan will become one of the mediums of settling the accounts of the trade between China and African countries.
Great. Well, how is this shift in currency affecting the banking sector in Africa, in your opinion?
Well, it's of course it will encourage more and more exchange, more and more cooperation between China and Africa, and it will make it easier because, as you know, if all the transactions were done in dollars, and this, of course, you lose a lot of service charges and in the transactions. That is why it will be beneficial for both the government of China and the African governments who are going to use the yuan. So it's like a new era of cooperation, a new era of economic cooperation, of trade, a new era of trading between, there is something called the Beijing Action Plan, which is going to start between 2025 and 2027. And this was a new stage of cooperation where the yuan will be used as a currency for exchange between settlements for trade and for the investment program.
Yes. Which arenas are currently drawing most partnership schemes between Africa and China?
Of course, as you know, that China is welcoming that more African countries are joining the BRICS, since in addition to South Africa, Egypt and Ethiopia, more countries are joining BRICS, and this is also benefiting the Chinese yuan, and also it will give a boost for trade and for investment between the BRICS countries and China.
Ambassador Shalaby, how would the Belt and Road Initiative, in your opinion, change the economic weight of the world?
Yes, of course, it is very important to know that China has strategically been stressing and addressing the region and the international community in order to join the Belt and Road Initiative, because it will attract future investment, it will localize industries and transfer technology through collaboration with the private sector and foreign direct investment. And this is also mentioned in the 10th ministerial meeting for the China-Arab Cooperation Forum, which dealt with various aspects of Arab and Chinese relations. So the Belt and Road Initiative is mainly focusing on rapid development of economy, of trade, rapid development of trade, of cultural ties, and it is going to have a future strategic importance, whether it is between China and bilaterally with Egypt, or regionally with Africa, or internationally between partners of China.
Well, during previous encounters, China promised to help Africa industrialize. Now, why, in your opinion, is China interested in the industrialization of Africa?
As you know, Africa is very rich with raw materials. So that is why China is after the infrastructure, the usage of these raw materials in order to develop the industry and to provide technological innovation and to develop the trade, whether it is in agriculture or in industry or in infrastructure. It is mainly depending on its partnership with different countries in order uh, to boost the economic ties and to provide technological innovation. And also it, um, it benefits because, as I said, from the financial point of view and from the economic point of view, all the private companies and the government companies in China will be busy investing in industrialization of raw materials, the cheap raw materials, and the cheap labor that is provided by the African countries.
Well, I would like to thank you so much, Ambassador Sou'ad Shalaby, former assistant to the Foreign Minister. Many thanks for your insight. And dear viewers, now we move on to this report and we'll be right back. On the sidelines of the 18th and